to tonight's Landscape Podcast.
Good evening. Thanks again, guys.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
I don't know how many tapes we've done this tonight. Christ, the guys must think this really is a podcast, guys.
Like this every time.
And going live in 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, guys. Welcome to another Landscape Lenscast podcast. Paul Cunningham, and here with the usual suspects. Some suspects, of course, Steve Stain, Darren Muirhouse, Alistair MacDonald from my team, and from the other team, Alistair MacDonald. Darren Muirhouse, Steve Stain, Paul Baker, and Colin Powell. They guys are the F.7 podcast team that you probably see on YouTube. Now, they're actually doing a little video which we will be putting a clip on of the F.7 road trip. So that's something to look forward to tonight. As well as we will actually be showing some images from every person you see here tonight. And they've all got about 2 minutes to explain themselves before I put the klaxon on, which will be this, I think. It will be this. It will be this. Why is this bloody... All right, go to live. Okay, right.
I was hoping
It's
for
not
a
that
big
one anyway. Right, so
I
it'll be
was
this one.
hoping for a big.
Yay! That's the one. You get some shit kind of bloody plugins for this.
F7.1.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Oh, you've lost it now.
So F7.1. These guys know what I'm like for the other podcast.
Gladys, it was F17 earlier, so
Right,
you missed
so-
that one.
0.7 just now, so we dropped.
If the camera can go up, cameras can go up to F17, I think.
Well, of course they can. That's F22.
Well,
Yeah, of
what's
course they can.
F20?
Yeah, what's wrong?
F22.
What's wrong with
Yeah.
F17?
Never seen
Nothing.
17 though, I think.
On a variable.
Right. Let's focus on the job in hand. Let's focus on the job in hand, guys. Right, so what I'm going to do, instead of me actually introducing each person and we're just kind of going for a while, we're going to get these guys to introduce each other. Well, themselves, that is. Unless they want to introduce each other, that's up to them. But we know who Steve is, of course, because you've seen his channel quite a few times. You know who Darren is. And, of course, you know who Alistair is. And I hope you know who I am. Don't just make up the numbers, you know. So I'm going to go to, firstly, Jan. Jan's been on before, but for people who have not known who Jan is or what Jan does, Jan, can you tell us more about your photography? And, yeah,
Hi.
over to you.
Hi. Thank you for having me tonight. I'm Jan Smith. I do like photography. It's one of the things that I do to relax because I have a very stressful job. And, well, I can't really call myself a photographer. Someone kindly called me a snapper, and I'll go with that. So I like taking photos of anything that moves and doesn't move. So thank you.
Thank you, Jan. And the next in line, we've got Mr. Paul Nikon Baker.
Yeah, I like to call myself
He's a Nikon
just a
man.
photographer, but that's up to everybody else to decide. And I'm a Nikon user, so and I do it basically because I'm winding down from work now. I'm getting ready to retirement. It's the way I like to relax, and I go out with this fine bunch of men, if you want to call them that, and we have a really good laugh when we go out. So yeah, good bunch of guys.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you, Paul. And Mr. Colin Powell, welcome to the show, Colin. Tell us more about yourself.
Thank you. Well, I'm builder by trade, but photography for me is just a way of getting away from the everyday hustle and bustle of work. I'll just forget everything when I'm out taking pictures. So I just enjoy doing that.
Cool. Thank you. Oh, we've got Martin coming on. And I'm not starting recording again, guys.
Can you hear me?
Martin, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having
we've
me.
just
Sorry, I'm
started,
late.
so you don't miss much. Don't worry, you're not miss much, apart from a few bloopers.
I blame
So,
Steve. I blame Steve anyway.
Yeah, well, yeah, just blame Steve then. Steve, you're a scapegoat tonight. We'll all blame you. Any technical problems?
He's the one that told me this
so-
Osmo Pocket could be used as a webcam, and yeah, I thought I'd try it today, but obviously it didn't work very well.
Oh yeah, it's a nice tool though to have in the tool bag, Osmo Pocket. So we're just introducing each other, so we're in the middle doing that. So I'm going to go to Glads now. Glads Yelland, tell us more about yourself and what type of photography you do.
Okay. I do street photography, and I'm
Wait a
trying
minute, stop. This is a landscape podcast, is it not?
Sorry.
Right, off. Right, no, that's okay. We're going to mix up tonight. We want to get Glads on because Glads used to be on the podcast with myself and Clipcast many moons ago. Now it's called Lens Lounge. And yeah, so Glads, just thanks for coming on first of all. And yeah, you offer something different tonight to show the images to everyone. Tell us more about your street photography.
I do mainly street photography, and I want to get into more documentary photography, and I use it mainly for, well, at the moment now, I do it for just for relaxing. I haven't really had many opportunities recently because I've been working too hard with my current job. So and also I got COVID recently, so just been recovering from that. But yeah, I do it as a way just to enjoy and relax. But I will be opening Lens Lounge soon, and I am editing a current video of Douglas, which you know. So
Oh
that'll
yeah,
be
our
out.
friend Douglas. Yeah, Doug
Hopefully that'll
Mellon.
be out
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully that'll be out next week.
Good,
Janet
good.
me on it. It's just because I'm not being well. That was the reason why I've kind of stopped for a bit.
No, I'm glad you're better. You're better as well because I know you had a hard time for the last few months there. So well done getting better. So that's good to hear. Yeah, thank you. And of course, Martin, who's been on the show before also, Martin Hajkovic. Martin, thank you for coming on. Did I pronounce that correctly? Because these guys are kind of 50-50 on it, I think.
No, not quite. In fact, I've just found out recently because my wife had met someone who was Polish, and they told me that I was pronouncing it incorrectly. It's actually pronounced, yeah,
Smith.
it's actually pronounced Hajdukevich.
Hajdukevich, right? Okay, that will stick with me, though. That will stick with me. Okay, thank you,
That's
Martin.
easy to say for
So, Martin. So, Martin, tell us more about your photography. We've kind of had you on. We've done an interview with you, but for people that's not heard or seen you, which I'm sure they've saw some of your videos, like some of the guys here, tell us what type of woodland. I just said it. What type of photography you do? Not let the cat out of the bag, but tell us more about what.
Yeah, I mean, predominantly woodland photography, but all landscape photography, to be honest with you. Woodland seems to come naturally because there's not much else around here. Living in the Midlands, it's very flat and a boring landscape. So naturally, I just sort of headed towards the woods. But yeah, I mean, I love the woodland. I do love those peaceful mornings where you're out in the woods and you've got the birds tweeting away and a bit of fog, hopefully, if you're really lucky. Just love those mornings. But, you know, I travel all over the UK with the F7.1 guys, just looking for landscape photography. It can be anything really. You know, I'm wanting to get more into sort of the wildlife side of things as well, but also some more sort of urban landscapes. Anything's possible.
Yeah, interesting. And yeah, because like, I mean, we will be seeing some wildlife images tonight. I'm not going to tell you who the person who's got the images, but we'll find out in due course. Thank you for introducing yourselves tonight, guys. So we'll all be going to the images in a minute. Before we do that, of course, I just want to just mainly go around people and just ask, well, get everyone's opinion on one thing. Does anyone actually buy the Outdoor Photography magazine? Well, that's that conversation fucked anyway. Right, okay, so we'll skip to the next one, okay? We'll just go to the images. Right, anyway, I just want to...
I did before, Paul.
Sorry?
But not this year.
You're not. Right, so this is you've all seen it. Come on. We're all photographers, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Adam Gibbs had his image on it a couple of weeks ago, which he was on our podcast, and he showed one of his images on it. This week, there's a man who's put some cracking images, and I just wanted to get your opinion on these images. I can show you on this. Might get done for copyright doing it, actually. But these images are very reminiscent to someone here who's done this kind of... I think it's David Peckett done this image, actually. But yeah, Graham McFarlane. No, he's in Scotland. And yeah, these images... I was going to show you. No, can you see that at all? It might be a bit of blur.
Yeah,
It looks a bit blur.
It's kind of, yeah, it's not given... you know it's a tree, yeah? But it's kind of done in a sort of ICM kind of format. But I think one of you guys have... I think Martin's probably done something like this, or someone else has done this. Do you see that?
No, Dave. Dave Peck
Dave Peck, yeah.
Yeah.
This is coming quite a lot. What do you think of this? This type of photography in regards to the
I think
woodland?
you need to move it.
It doesn't work for me.
Sorry?
Doesn't do it for me.
Does it not do it? Right. Good. Yes, there's a good opinion there. Anybody else? I mean, I'll give you a couple of other shots he's done.
It's art.
Paul, could you move it a bit further back from the camera? So
Yeah, I'm just going to move this mic a bit. It might collapse, but there we go. Ooh, it's on a dodgy kind of stand there, right? So we've got this one here as well. That's more kind of autumnal kind of looking. Can you see that okay, Jan? Glads? Yeah.
Yes, I can see it, and he's presenting it in a non-traditional way.
Yeah,
I would say. So it's like a combination between art and photography. But it lends more towards the art side of things, and
art.
I think it's pushing that envelope basically than your traditional woodland photography. It's something. It's like treating a well-tested subject in a different way.
But for me, if you're going out into a woodland for the woodland photography, I won't be taking stuff like that. I'd be wanting to enjoy my surroundings, taking the images how it is. We all suffer an image for woodland, but not to that extent.
Probably I would try it out of curiosity, I think, just in case sake of trying it.
Now, if it was painting, something like that, then I get
I've got you. Yeah, that's kind of that kind of effect, isn't it?
Camera in the hand.
It has got that.
Yeah.
I actually agree with Darren on that. I think if he did it like that ghost image, the black and white, and he did it on another material, where he printed it on glass or something, and showed it like a collage with photo and art, I think it would be perfect, because it is like what Jan says, it's more to the art side, it's more abstract. But like Darren has argued, in some ways, it's not really like other, general photography of woodland. It's more about the woodland than the arty side. So that's probably why, like, some of you guys probably wouldn't necessarily like it, because you're more, you're more into the woodland and actual nature itself. But on art-wise, it's fabulous as an fine art photography, because if you put it on a separate material, you can exhibition that as something totally different.
Yeah. I mean, there's no AI involved. That's just merely just camera manipulation with this movements of the camera. And obviously, the only thing is probably involved in an aspect of maybe oversaturation of things, maybe just to make it a bit more punch, a bit more. But what he's done, reading what he said is just basic. What he's done.
Is it ICM that's being used here, or is it that technique? And I can't remember the name of it. There's a technique where you can get a solo tree, and you basically take multiple exposures as you walk around the tree, and then you bring those all together.
This is mainly just an ICM technique because he's face on, and he's not saying about going around the tree or anything. So he's kind of just manipulated with. Okay. Everyone does different ways of doing ICM. You can do the traditional this and this, and then the flick of the wrist. Where other guys we had on the show before, like. You probably know Stephanie Johnston, for example, and we had recently, well, not recently, but way back, we had Shona Perkins, and she done images of the beach, but she kind of, just amazing images, and I can appreciate that. Before I was more like use guys, like Paul, etc. I was kind of like, no, I like an image to be an image, and just to depict what we're looking at. I don't like to see too much, sort of anything to make it too kind of fancy or anything. Well, this is kind of like, as Glad says, it is fine art. So it's a different aspect of photography. So you can't really, it comes into the realm of landscape photography because it is a landscape. It's a landscape, but regards to woodland photographers, as a purist woodland photographer, we wouldn't like if it was Simon Baxter or Mally Davis, etc. They'd probably say no, because I've not seen. I've seen Mally do some good stuff as well with kind of like a little bit of manipulation, but not to that extreme. So I think it works. That's my own opinion, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, when you go down the road of ICM, for me, it's more like Shona does.
Amazing,
It's that clean. It's a lovely clean image with the ICM. To me, that is, if you're doing it with Woodland, it's to that how he's done that one. It's too messy in my liking.
Can I say it looks like a combination? It looks like a combination of ICM and normal photography, if you get what I mean. It looks like part of it is ICM, and then he's taken a still shot and he's incorporated that into an ICM shot.
Double exposure.
Different. So I don't know.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like.
That's a good point.
Years ago, before I started doing YouTube, I did try long exposure woodland photography, and that was something different, but something I've never really returned to because it just didn't.
Yeah, I think long exposure works in the case if you want to freeze a bit of the waterfall, but not too much movement.
Yeah, you can freeze the chunks, but
don't make it too milky.
Foliage.
I don't like long exposure. I've not done it for ages. In fact, in a woodland, I don't think it works too much. Really, to be fair, really.
No, I'd say I tried it quite a few years ago. Anyway,
it
a bit different, but
it's like trying to do long exposure of a waterfall, and you got lots of trees as well. And the trees are all doing this, and it just blurs. I don't like it.
But isn't that what photography is about? It's all about people liking this.
Yeah, of course.
Like that. We don't all like this.
That's why we have a podcast and we all kind of disagree. We need to disagree with each other, guys. And we need to fight if we need to.
I mean, this is the whole thing. It's about art.
F7,
if you studied art or something like that, I did higher art at school, and I did find that, say, a sort of modern art type thing, I wasn't happy if you needed to be told what it was. And it's the same as some of this photography. If you need to be told what it is, I'm not keen on it. It's not saying it's wrong.
No, it's not exactly. We're not playing God to say you shouldn't do that. No, you're right. Right. Anyway, sorry, go on, Jan.
Well, I think that's the whole beauty of photography, because everyone has their own way of actually conveying an image or shooting an image to tell what they see, and all of us see something different from each other. And in case with this guy, I think he's seeing things differently as we do. So it's basically, because at the end of the day, photography is very much personal. So it's telling our own personal story of what we actually see through the lens. So that's I think I would commend him to have gotten out of his way and really put out there how he sees things.
Yeah. If he goes into the woods and sees trees like that, then I want some of what he's having.
Yeah. Listen a bit of Sergeant Pepper's while looking at this, though. That'd be great. Yeah. Some Pink Floyd in there. Yeah. Right. Okay. So we all want to go to the images now, guys.
If I could just,
yeah,
can
sure.
I just have a quick go, Paul? If you don't mind, I think if someone can put a technique into place like that, or whatever it is, whether it's long exposure, ICM, taking multiple images, and create an image that's pleasing to someone, then I think they've done a good job. What I would suggest us doing is actually going and trying it and trying to create a good image, and then we might appreciate how good his image is, because to get it to look right, to look pleasing to the eye, it doesn't just happen first time. The same as when we take a woodland image and it's not right, it doesn't happen first time. So to create an image, and I like the art style of it. I'd prefer to call myself an artist rather than a photographer. I'm sure everybody disagrees with that, but to put art into the photography, no matter how you do it, it's still got to look good, and if it looks good, then it works. It's as simple as that. And not everybody's going to like it. and that's my opinion on it. And I would love to try. I'd like to try it to capture an image or to create art like that. I'd be extremely happy.
Yeah,
And that's my opinion on it. So what I'm saying is, I think we can all easily forget that photography is an art. Don't matter how you use that camera, it's still an art form there. That's how my spin on it.
I think principally as well, one of the key things with photography, and one of the reasons most of us do photography, it's a hobby. We enjoy it. It's fun. So if you're getting out there and you're trying out you're experimenting like this, and you're enjoying it, that's the main thing.
It provokes a response. So when you put a picture out, it provokes a response of someone. And if they feel something from it, that's all it's all about. It's not for the masses. Although there's people who will go out there and take pictures for the masses. I'm certainly not that person. I don't look for that. I'm looking to get a response from something I like, and I put out there. I used to, when I first started doing photography, I used to do all the tricks like long exposure, the Edinburgh Castle, Forfar Bridge, all the honeypot shots as much as you like, from the all same compositions. But no, I just can't be bored with trying to, please the masses, because you need to do it. If you lose that, that thing where in you create, you lose your creativity, then you may as well just hand your camera to everyone and say, you take a picture of what you like and give me the card back and I'll put it out for you. Yeah?
Yep.
Glad it's come back.
It's like you said, well, if you take an image, it gets people talking.
Yeah,
that's exactly.
You've done your job, because you've done it for yourself.
Yeah. You're gonna get
Yeah,
you're gonna get people that don't like it, people that do like it, and so on.
Yeah.
So end of the day, he's done his job by getting people talking about his
Yeah,
image.
yeah, of course. Yep. And that's why these guys are in these magazines, because that has provoked a response with us. Someone's hate it, someone's like it. And that's what it's all about, getting the response, get people talking about it. Guys, we're all good. Any other questions, anyone? Any? Fine? No? That's me, I'm away sailor.
He's gone.
No, I'm not gone. I'm just.
He's getting a beer.
I was trying to see if I can provoke a response.
For what? Which bit? I thought we'd had a response.
No. Right, I'm going to go to the images now. So we're going to share a screen. So, Alistair, this is your first one. You notice I put names up because I might forget whose images I bought. Here we go. Yeah, lovely shot. So, Alistair, just tell us more about this one. And we did talk about long exposure. There is a bit of a long exposure in this shot, of course, although to the right extent, not too much.
Well,
so yeah,
the two images I put up today are they're both wrong. They've done something wrong in them. But this one it's Dalkeith Palace and Dalkeith Country Park, and to get to that position, you've got to get through the water onto a bit of an island, and even then I'm on the edge of the island. But I set myself up with a 28mm ISO 200, shooting in RAW, 30 seconds. So obviously I had a big filter in the front because it's 3:17 in the afternoon. But I'm set at f2.8. I just noticed that when I was dealing with this, f2.8 is just the wrong aperture to be on completely, but it seems to have worked.
Yeah, there's a lot of depth in this image. A lot of depth. So in regards to the, was this stacked, or did you actually shoot for the background and the foreground?
It's a single shot.
Really?
Yeah, it's a single shot. I've focused. I've got the crispness of the building itself, and I'm actually surprised I've got any detail in the foreground on that bridge and on the water because it's 2.8. At least that's what the metadata is telling me. I'm surprised it's shot at 2.8. I would have, in those days, been definitely a bang on f8 and gone with it. But for me, it worked. I've got a nice movement in the water. It's crisp in places and fuzzy in others. The building's nice and crisp, and that's what I was after.
Yeah, nice shot. Nice shot. Thank you. Let's move on to the next one there. We'll try to keep this about 2 minutes. Give me a second there. Someone's got their alarm on. All right.
I thought that was your klaxon.
Yeah, I didn't actually use it. So yeah, this is their second one, Alistair, and of course this is Saint. Oh God, is it where about again?
So
St. Ives.
this is St. Abbs. This is St. Abbs Lighthouse. And this is where we were talking earlier about menu systems and so forth. And this is where I discovered I absolutely hate modern cameras. Because fumbling about in the dark, I was trying to adjust my ISO. So you press a button and you thumb a wheel to change the ISO, and it wasn't happening. And I couldn't understand why. Then I had a proper look, put a torch on, found the ISO button, adjusted the ISO as I wanted to 6400. But what I hadn't realized is it switched to JPEG only.
You did mention that to me earlier today, right enough.
Yeah,
with that one.
so that's a JPEG with minimal correction done. And what I have been able to do, thanks to modern software, because this is about 10-year-old now, actually 2015 this was taken, was I've been able to put it through Topaz denoise, and that's crisped it up really nicely, and I'm pleased with that. So that's looking east with the morning light starting to come up this is 3:25 a.m. on the 16th of August 2015, with an aurora taking place at the same time.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I was going to see that on the left-hand side there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has anybody actually got anything to say about this image? Who's wanted to ask her anything about Alistair about?
It's really nice.
I think it's really nice. The perspective really threw me a bit on this because are we looking down at the lighthouse?
You're at the top of the steps going down towards the lighthouse. So the lighthouse is below us.
Very cool.
Yeah, I like how you caught the light rays coming out of the lighthouse.
I presume that's a gate. I presume that's a gate at the top.
There is. There's actually two gates. There's the one to go through that I'm not meant to go through because it's private property. But it was 3:15 in the morning and didn't care. And there's a gate at the top of the stairs. And they were shooting over the top of the gate, so you could actually see that the handrails going down towards the lighthouse. Got those in, and then the building to the side, because I was shooting at 14 millimeters, it brought in that building at the side. So there's been a little bit of horizontal adjustment made in Lightroom to bring that building back because it was leaning into the shot quite a lot. But that's pretty much it.
Have you considered putting it on a square instead of the way
Well,
it
I
is?
wanted to keep as much of the aurora in.
That's a klaxon.
Bye.
Right, so there we go. So we had to abruptly do that because we've got 2 minutes, guys. So, Darren, it's you now. Apologise there about that, Jan. So since we'll get Jan in to get her opinion on this next shot. That is lovely. That, to me, is woodland photography and the aspect of just mainly doing a panel, just have that kind of calm and serene shot.
Yeah, this is actually a 6-shot pano at 70mm, and this image is 2 week old. And it was a day of scouting, more or less. Took Big D up there with me, and we got absolutely wet through. It was a heavy drizzle, and it just brought the mist and the low cloud in. And this lasted for about 20 minutes, and then it just blew away again. But desaturated because it's summertime, and that's what I tend to do with my woodland now. Try to desaturate it, and all I've left is the greens and the yellows, and there's a hint of blue, and that's it.
Jan, what would you like to say about this one? Is there anything you like about it?
I like the movement of I like the placing of the shot because all the subject, like the trees, shows a certain type of movement. So, which makes the shot, I think, it's not just straight line woodland. So I like it. It has character to it.
It took me about 15 minutes to get that composition right, to try and get as much separation between the branches and tree stumps as possible. I was actually lent against another tree taking this.
I always think their photographs look like they've been painted.
Yeah. Yeah, they do have that feeling. Huh?
It's one of those images where the more you stare at it, the more you appreciate it, and you can tell the hard work that Ginger's gone to here to really get that separation, because you start looking at individual branches and it's just like, yeah, okay, that's perfectly placed, that one's perfectly placed. It all just comes together beautifully, and it just really leads the eye around.
I like the separation, of the image as well. You know, the separation of the trees in the foreground there, the ones that you need to be separated, and the interest of the trees, the old twisted gnarly trees in the background. And I do agree with you, the less saturation does work well in woodland photography, because you don't want to be too over kind of green, or, you know, too kind of, it needs to be reduced a bit.
That place was very, very green.
Oh,
so
there's a klaxon, guys. Sorry about that. Okay, so we moved on to the next one. Just bear with me a second while I just shut this thing up. Okay, shush, that's like morning. Shit, isn't it? Right, there we go. Right, so thank you. So the next one, we have this beautiful shot, and I presume that's yourself of doing a sort of Mads Peter Everson there, yeah.
This was on his recent trip to Northumberland. I was absolutely piss wet through on this. Because the tide was coming in. I actually got Mr. P.W. Baker to press the shutter button when I went up there.
Picture.
Mr. Pointy.
Well done, Paul, for the shot.
Yeah, because originally he was in my way. So it was a way of getting him out of my way to take this press the shutter while I ran up there.
You set up the composition, I presume, yeah? Or was that Paul?
Yes, I set it
Well,
all
I
up.
obviously didn't.
I knew exactly what I was going to do processing this because of the orange on the rocks. So yeah, it just came out. It came out great, apart from the bit of a beer belly sticking out.
Edit that
Apart
out,
from
man.
that.
Edit it out.
Yeah, you can always get the old clone
removal.
tool.
Removal tool.
AI tool just does wonders now.
I thought you'd pinch one of them rocks.
I thought your rucksacks.
I think it'd have been a bit bigger.
Pushed him in the water.
So I tell you what, them rocks are bigger than what you think, aren't they?
So tell me, I've been there taking that, well, not that picture, but taking a picture there as well. Is that castle actually narrower at the bottom than it is at the top? Because every picture I've got,
yes,
it's weird.
Oh, yes, it is.
You just feel like it's warped in the image.
Yeah, I've got a bit of drone footage as well from it, and that's the same. When you look at it, you think, oh, it's just like it is narrow at the bottom coming up.
Wow.
Yeah, and the foreground's amazing. I like the rocks, but you know, so the orange.
Clever.
Just the lichen in the rocks there. I love it.
For me, it's a really interesting one because I don't normally like colour pop images, but because this one is very different to any colour pop image I've ever seen, it really works for me. It's weird because I've seen so many colour pop ones and I'm just like, oh no. But this, it's
different.
It's really.
I was actually questioning whether it was black and white with colour pop, because I was thinking, I know how black that beach can be, and I know how dull and miserable Northumberland can be. So I was actually thinking that was full colour.
Well, when we got there, it were bright blue skies, wasn't it, Steve? It was, and we hoped it was something going to happen anyway. It came cloudy.
Okay, so we'll get to the next one, and who we got next? Steve. Oh yeah. So Steve, this one with the sky, just beautiful. It's absolutely amazing with the colours in the sky. Actually, was this? Do you saturate the sky a bit more in this one?
I whacked it right up.
Yeah.
To the right.
I was kind of saying that kind of less kind of sort of obvious way, but trying to be a bit modest. What you say?
I've got to be honest with you. When we was there, you didn't actually appreciate how good the sky was. And even though you're taking images, and it weren't until I got it back home that I realised that actually how good that sky that morning was. Even though I got some nice images from there, I must admit. But yes, I got the most out of it in post.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, definitely. I love the anchor point there, as you like to say, pardon the pun, but it looks like an anchor. Is it actually on the left hand side, just below? Yeah. It's just kind of nails the image.
But that won't be far off what actually happened with the sky though that morning, will it?
No, it wasn't actually. It was very close.
It did. I was up at the castle when this happened, and it absolutely exploded for about 2 or 3 minutes.
Because it was the sky was so dark, and then it just that sun sort of, it would come in from above it, but it just popped through as well. So, and then you start to get them raised. But yeah, it was. I have processed it to bring the most out of it, but like I say, on that morning, I don't think any of us actually appreciated how good that sky was. I think one of the reasons is because we'd had such a hard weekend, we was all shattered. I mean, this is 4:00 in the morning again. After 3 days again, up at 4:00 in the morning and being out at 10:00 at night, and so it was all shattered. So, but yeah, it was the shot I was after actually. So I was quite pleased with that.
Definitely worth the effort anyway. Cracking shot. Anybody else like to have a chat about this? We've got a few seconds. We've got about just under a minute.
No, I were there. I were there. So.
we think Colin was living inside one of them.
Colin, what's your take on this image? What do you think? What do you like about it?
I like it. I think it's fantastic. But I didn't take any of the time boats when we were there at all. Not one. And I wish I
I
had.
don't think I did either.
But, they just didn't appeal to me at the time. But seeing pictures that Steve's taking, I wish I had it done. Yeah, fantastic.
We'll have to go back up there.
Yeah, we will.
I think I might have missed the point of this, by the way. I've not sent any from Northumberland.
Yeah, it's been that way so far, isn't it?
I think,
Sorry,
I think
Paul,
we go
never
there again, though. We'd have to go
I've got to be honest with you, I'll just put this in because I wanted to plug the F7.1 podcast, that's all.
Ching, ching, ching. Yeah. Okay.
Funny enough, I wrote the same wavelength as Steve.
I think the klaxon's coming at the right minute just now, guys. So, 2 seconds. Hey. Right, so that's that. Okay, so we get to the next one of Steve's, and I wish this. There we go. Oh yeah, lovely leading line is very obvious. Beautiful sky. This is a Windows 95 job, isn't it? Yeah, I love it.
This is obviously I've got a new tripod and it was extremely high, so I thought I'd try it out on this shot. No, it's I can't. It's obviously a drone shot, and I did have to do a bit of manipulation with getting rid of some other lines and things like that in Photoshop. But I think the critical part of it was even taking a shot low down was actually getting that light as it was rolling through, just in the right place around the barn, so the barn stood out. And I just literally just waited and waited until that light come through. And on this one, it's a single shot. On some of the other shots, I did blend them in, so it was a bit of light blending, exposure blending. But this being a drone shot, it was just a single drone shot, and I can't believe how much detail is in the drone shot, considering it's only Mini 3 that I've got. So
yeah, Micro Four Thirds out there.
Yeah. So it's but the detail from front to back is fantastic.
And that light was rolling through really quickly as well, wasn't it? It was like there,
it was, yeah.
Gone.
So the critical part, the critical part is getting that light right as it was rolling through, like Paul said.
Okay, Glads, what's your take on this?
I love this. I love the light. I love the way the light is focused on the background of that spot. I love the way the lines go right into it. It's a really clean, minimalistic, beautiful shot. That's what I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really nice. Anybody else want to have a little chat about it? It's got a lovely sky, and as Glad said, it's the light just kissing at the side there of the kind of the what's I don't know if it's a stable or a shed, whatever.
Barn.
There we go.
Yeah, it's a big,
big
barn, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm over par.
The only thing I'll say, because I was there with Colin, Steve, and Paul when Steve took this, and I just wish that I got my drone out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I would have loved to get a shot like this.
Yeah, it's just the composition of the drones. The shots you can get from drones are amazing. I mean, that's what I was saying the other week there to the guys. It is so worth it to do a lot of photography for drones. I mean, they can't do certain things, but shots like this is beautiful on a clear day. Really nice.
What the problem with the drone is it's so hard to see the composition because you've got to fly the drone. So my advice is get the drone up, have a look. If there's nothing there, get it back down and carry on. But a lot of the time, it's worth flying it. The amount of times I flew the drone and just seen that shot and flying it, but it is very difficult. It's very difficult to see, obviously, to see a composition.
Time up, guys. Okay, so we're moving to the next one.
Spot on.
Yeah, that was good shots there as well. And Paul Nikon Baker. So,
Don't look at my shot.
yeah, this is a lovely shot, Paul. What I liked about this, looking at this when you sent it, is a light kissing the side of the rock. Of course, that's the obvious thing. It's a warm light, and it's the warm tones in this image, which is the best thing overall, I think, for me. Of course, along with the not long exposure, but the shot you've taken in regards to the water, the timing of the water kind of coming in. It's really nice. So yeah, just tell us more about it, introduce it. Yeah.
It was another meet with the 7.1 lads, and we were all literally queuing up. I mean, I initially went to the far right hand side, and I was getting some really, really interesting shots there. But then I noticed the gold light on the side of the rock, and I ran as fast as I could to capture it. And I thought it came out really.
Whoa! Say that again. You ran.
I said it as much as I could. I hobbled quickly. I think I ran into you at the time, didn't I, Colin? Didn't I? Did I run into you?
Yeah, you ran in front
Get
of
off my
me.
camera, wasn't it?
Not me from getting it.
But yeah, we had a great weekend and we got loads of shots. It's somewhere I'd like to go again. Fantastic place.
The thing that I find really interesting about this, Paul, is when I was there with you, I purposely kept trying to get to the right of that rock because I didn't want that cliff facing because I felt it a bit distracting. But I'm learning from seeing this image that actually that isn't so much an issue because I don't find it distracting in your final image here.
Well, I had to get that separation from the peak to the bit where the actual cliff comes down on the right hand side of it. If I was more to the right, then it wouldn't have worked. So that's what I was saying. I had to keep running around with the camera to get that. And Colin was right to my right, and his camera was low because he was trying to catch waves at the time. So we were sort of right next to each other. But yeah, you had to. Yeah, it was good. It was good fun. That was.
Anybody else want to have a little chat about this one?
I take it the glow on the rock is reflected from something behind you or to the side. So I'm trying to figure out how.
It was directly from the light. I have obviously used a bit of Photoshop to enhance it a little bit.
Photoshop.
But it was yellow. I promise you, it was yellow from the sun.
Yeah. I suppose the light can be bouncing off the white waves and bouncing up onto it. I mean, it's definitely there, even though you've maybe enhanced it a little bit. It's there, but
I think there was some.
Carry on.
Yeah.
So there was some reflected light off the clouds as well.
Clouds? What clouds?
Yeah, everything was yellow for about 5-10 minutes. It didn't last very long, but everything went yellow, and that rock really caught it.
Yeah, that's an excellent shot. Well done, Paul. Really like that.
It's very dreamy.
And that's with the Z8.
Imagine what you could have got with a Sony.
This is a belter, Paul. This is an absolute belter. Just tell us more about it.
This is my favourite shot that I've ever taken. It's obviously St Michael's Mount, and it's actually everybody thinks it's the sun. It's actually a moonrise, I took about 20 shots with it, and then I blended them in so you've got the trail of the moonlight going across the pathway. So it's not everybody thinks it's just one photograph. It isn't. It's about 20, and I've blended that in. I've actually got rid of some rubbish that was on the side of the water as well to do that. I think potentially I should have been a little bit more to the left. When I look at it these days, I often think I should have been a little bit more to the left, but I'm not sure if it would have worked or not. But I love this shot.
Yeah, it is. I really like it. It's just all the greens, it's the leading course into the islands itself. The warmth of the. Sorry.
Is that St Michael's Mount or Linda's?
St Michael's Mount in Cornwall, yeah.
It's beautiful.
And that's the causeway, obviously. Mm-hmm. Yeah, brilliant. I love it there. I want to go back and try and get it again, but and do it a bit better. But brilliant.
Yeah,
I love it there.
Excellent calendar shot if you ever do one.
Yeah.
Guys, anyone else? We've got just under a minute.
it's just the level of the water, isn't it? And everything, it's just absolutely spot on. You've got the pathway that is just wet, and then it just leads you straight into the image. Yeah, it's spot on.
Yeah, that was the Z6, I think it was at the time.
Yeah, so
really good.
You recently got the Z8, Paul, didn't you?
Yeah. It's considerably heavier than the other ones, but it is really good.
Oh yeah, as a flagship camera, it's. I definitely would love to get one myself, but anyway, never mind. I always dream.
What a Paul's t-shirt. What a Paul's
Yeah, I
t-shirt.
might do that. I might just go to MPB and just trade all my gear in. I've got 18 lenses, and I've got like a Nikon D850, and also a Nikon D7200 from past yesterday. When I say yesterday, I say yesteryear. So I've got a few cameras. So that's me shut up. Anyway, that's...
Before you shut me up, that was with the D500. Sorry, that was with the D500, not the Z6.
Ah, right, okay.
Proper
anyway, thank you. Good shot, really nice. So we did put a third one up, and I wasn't going to put it up, and I thought, Paul's a Nikon shooter, why not? Everyone else has got 2 images, but Paul, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to let you choose, to be fair.
Yeah, I know. I thought that kind of thing, but I thought, he's put 3 shots up, so I may as well just put this one up here. So just tell us more about, obviously it's sunset.
He's always cheats with his images, Paul. He always put that extra one in.
Yeah.
Or extra 80
I know.
in some
This
cases.
was actually taken last night. And I don't know how to pronounce it. Somebody can pronounce it, please do. It was beautiful last night. That light, it just reflecting across that grass. It was fantastic last night. And I just thought it was worthy of a share today. Nobody's seen them before. It's the first time putting them up.
Well,
it's St. Oldham's Chapel.
I think I said it a bit different than that, but I always do, don't I?
I was doing exactly the same last night. I was photographing into the sun, getting the light bouncing off the grass in the foreground, and my photograph is pants compared to that. It's really good.
The problem I had was to go behind it. It's actually a bank. You actually drop down quite a bit, and I had to get the camera so it was slightly on the bank, so I could see the base of the church or the chapel. If I went all the way down the bank, you were cutting half of the chapel off, and it didn't work. And walking back last night when I left there, I struggled to get back. I have trouble walking anyway, but I really struggled to get back last night. But that made it worth it. I think it was I just think it was a really good shot. I mean, I don't know.
So what was that chapel used for now? Was it a little both kind of thing for travellers, or what was it used for now?
No, it's used. It's a used church. There was a service there last night. There were some parishioners that went in there last night, and I mean, I was very conscious of the fact that they were there, and I walked well away. They weren't in there very long, but I walked away to get away. Obviously, you can't fly your drone around there because of the church, and I wouldn't do that anyway.
The devil worshipper. It's got the drone.
What you don't appreciate, that's right on the coast, isn't it? It's right on the cliff top of the coast as well.
Yeah, so but the coast is where the sun is.
Location. Yeah,
the coast is just where the sun is. Yeah, and what I didn't like about this shot, it would have been really nice if the church was the other way around. The doorway was there, because obviously the doors at the front, But I love it.
Yeah, lovely shot. Thank you.
The other thing I want to ask on this one, Paul, did you take your camera in to get blessed?
I took some photographs inside there because it was open. I don't know if you guys did that, and it was open when you went. Yeah, it's a beautiful place. It's beautiful. I mean, I'm not religious at all, but that's a beautiful place.
Yep, great. Thanks again, Paul. We're going to move to the next one now. So, Colin, we'll have some cracking images from Colin as well there. Yeah, I love this one. Got to look at it for a few. Okay, just looking at the clams there, just looking at the actual stones themselves, so the way they're actually positioned as well, just the depth of field of it. It's lovely shallow depth of field. Colin, just tell us more about this image. Just want to introduce it about where it is, etc.
It was taken down at Armour Cove, the same place as what Paul's shot he just showed you of the rock. And in fact, it's about 8 feet to the side, to the left of those rocks. Those are only about 2 foot in height in general. And this one was taken with a 400mm lens way back up the beach. because when I was taking it, there was another photographer there leading the workshop with a client, and he was right in front of that large rock that was in Paul's image, photographing that. So I was waiting for him to move on, and I just noticed that happening. So I slapped on the 400mm lens and took a few of it, and that's how it turned
cracking.
out.
It's a cracking shot.
You know, about a 30-second exposure. The wave action wasn't that great, which worked in my favour, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just go on. Sorry.
The thing I noticed about this one is the barnacles on that left-hand side rock.
Yeah.
It's a really beautiful shot. I love it. Again, quite minimalistic, but really beautiful.
Yeah. What sort of exposure setting was that? How long exposure was that?
30-second exposure. Yeah, and I think it was about F11.
Okay.
I think somewhere around about there.
Okay.
I have retaken it since I've done that and separated the first rock from the one behind. And got that bit of separation, but it doesn't look as good as that.
Yeah, I mean, have you added anything more? Like, have you put more dehaze into it, or was it reduced to dehaze, or?
No,
I was going to say that. Yeah.
You know, it's not taken a lot of processing at all, really.
Yeah, it's kind of just a shot as it is. Really nice shot, actually. Looks good, and it must look good in print as well. Just all the detail you've got in the rocks, etc.
Oh, it looks fantastic in print.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So yeah, we're just.
I think Martin, you took it, didn't you, mate?
Okay, we'll move on to the next one, guys.
I did, yes. Sorry, I was trying to find the unmute button.
You want to talk about this one?
No, it's a fantastic image. I mean, obviously, I saw it from Colin a couple of years ago now, and we went down to Airmere Cove. I was like, he pointed it out to me. I was like, I need to grab this. I did get a similar shot, not as good as this, but yeah, it's a beauty.
Okay, we'll move on to the next one, and thanks there, Martin. Yeah, this is another wooden shot, which, just love the detail regards to the moss hanging over the top tree there on the right-hand side. So much in this shot with regards to it kind of just completely covered in moss and all the foliage and everything there. Just looks brilliant. It's so much interest in it. And I know you've kind of vignetted a little bit there but that's good because it's kind of drawing you right into the centre of the image. So yeah, just tell us more about where this is as well, if you don't mind me asking. Where is it?
This is Wishman's Wood. You can't go in there now, unfortunately, but this was taken from the outside, looking in. So you say you can't go in there anymore. No, I didn't enter to get that. But what drew my attention?
Sorry, that's a false alarm. That's don't worry. It's went off for no reason there. That's my bad.
Am I boring you?
No, not at all. Go on, Colin. Sorry, just I pressed the on button there.
Yeah, you got a natural tunnel going through the trees with the light at the bottom, and that drew my attention to it. In actual fact, this was my second attempt at it because I went a few weeks before I took this and took the same image, but when I got home, it just was not right. And I went down a few weeks later and took it again, and I'm a lot happier with it. But yeah, it's a wonderful place. Wishman's Wood.
Can I just say, putting a square crop works for this image?
Yes, yeah. I've cropped the top off because it was a bright day, really, and I've got the gaps in the trees above, so I just cropped that out.
Yeah. So I noticed, I gather you're kind of, were you shooting like a high shutter speed? There's a lot of movement in the foliage and the grass, the leaves, etc.
I don't think so. No, it was quite sunny. I don't think there was any wind at all. In fact, I think Paul, you were with me, weren't you? Shooting robins.
Yeah, it's the day I dropped my camera and broke that lens.
Yeah, so
Many days.
But yeah, you got the trees right at the back of the tunnel as well, which look great. And again, it's another one that does look fantastic.
Yes, it's a lot of detail into it. Yeah, it's really nice.
How come you can't go in there now then, Colin?
Too many people during lockdown. They've scrubbed all the moss off the rocks with a foot trampling through it.
Can anybody see the wolf's head on the side of the tree, or is it just me? When you
Sorry?
On the right hand,
Yeah.
on the right hand tree, on the right hand tree.
Oh, I see, yeah.
There's like a wolf head.
See,
I've never noticed that.
Just saying.
Never noticed that.
As we say, so we see all different things in photography.
Bark at the moon.
Well noticed. It's never to be seen again. Seeing that. Right, good timing. Move on to the next one. And we've got Martin Hajkovic. Martin. It's Martin's. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. This was taken back in March. Myself, Colin, and Steve met up with Gary Norman from another podcast.
The old podcast.
And we just thought we'd show them around Cannock Chase, Brockton Coppice. Those guys walked ahead, and I just saw this golden light coming down this valley here. And the reason I'm showing this photo is because I've done very little to it, believe it or not. That golden light really was pretty much as golden as it looks. I have warmed it up ever so slightly in post, but I just love the way the tree was leaning across there, and it's very difficult to work out on the screen here, but you've got some extra bits of detail with the silver birch in the background there as well. It's just balanced quite nicely. Just one of my favourite images of this year.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's just the warmth of it as well, and just I kind of like these shots are more of like in the winter time when there's no foliage or no kind of leaves on the branches of the trees. And if you just get the light right and enough kind of denseness of the trees altogether, it works really well. And this has worked very well. But yeah, sometimes you get bored with seeing everything green and just the branches. But we say the same thing in the winter, don't we? Kind of when taking pictures of trees, we're like eager to get to the springtime. But sometimes looking at these trees in the winter time, you can see the structure of the tree, the shape of the tree. Yeah, I really like that image, and thank you for showing that.
Yeah, just works, doesn't it, with the warmth of that sun and the brown bracken as well. It just all goes together.
Thank you.
It's a kind of image, I think, if someone's choosing an image to go with decor in their house, they'll probably go for something like this. Yeah, you get them to see where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Glad something news.
Absolutely.
Okay, we move to the next one. Oh, yeah, I've seen that before, of course. But it's another nice composition. Yeah, on you go, Martin.
Yeah, so it's that chapel again, St. Aldham's Chapel, from the other side to what Paul took it, I think.
You guys are doing it at the same time. You Paul's on the other side while you're taking that picture.
No. So Paul went last night. This was taken when myself, Colin, and Steve went about a month and a half ago, I'd say.
2 weeks ago, wasn't it? You went 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah. The reason I've had this photo is because it shows that I'm not just a woodland photographer.
Yeah.
I do enjoy other genres as well, but why I've also added this one is because of the processing of this. There's a lot of processing that's gone on this. If you were to see the raw file of this, it's actually quite a flat-looking image. So the light on the side of the chapel and the shadows of the sort of pillars that are coming out the side, they're not there in the real file. So this is really an exercise for me in post-processing editing. I like this photo because of the effort that I've gone to with the editing on this.
Was that sunrise or sunset?
Sunset.
It's really hard to
There was a nasty
room.
Yeah, there was a horrible camper van right there as well, wasn't there? So you've done well to remove that.
Yeah, so that's been removed. Generative AI.
Yes. Yeah. I've
That's
took
the
a
one thing
similar.
AI is good for.
Yeah, I took a similar shot to this, but I think the processing on this is fantastic. Absolutely,
yeah, I do
fantastic.
like the light, the softness of the light. You just
Great
kind of,
work.
how it kind of just blends in the light. If you go from the foreground, then it just gets lighter and lighter, and obviously the light coming from the right hand side there, so it looks really nice. Of course, you got the shadows play as well on the building. Looks really nice. Yeah. Anybody else want to have a little chat about this, Jan?
Yes.
Jan?
I had myself muted, so yes, I do like the shot, and I think this shows an eye for composition, because I would say that this would be quite a difficult place to compose from because the chapel is quite prominent and it's the rest of it is basically just blank. So yeah, great job.
You'd be
Thank
surprised how small that chapel is. It's not very big at all.
It's not, and it's not built completely straight either. I found when I was editing in post, the perspective looked a bit
I
odd.
think it's went away.
Right. Okay.
What the hell is that cat?
I'm now back here. I can hear a cat meowing.
Yeah, that's not me, by the way. I'm not putting any sound effects or anything. Yeah. Right. Okay. So we're going to go back into images, and we've got some cracking shots from Jan. You're all good to go, guys. And thanks for your patience as well. That's been a bit stop-start. So here we go. I don't know where that came from. That's an echo. Echo?
Yeah, can everyone's hear me?
Sorry, Jan, can't hear you.
He's winding you up, Jan.
What?
He's a Lenscast wind-up merchant. That's what he is. He does it all the time.
I'm fine normally. I'm running out of beer. I'm running out of beer.
Well, I've got a beer, so I cracked it open when you guys probably heard me cracking it open during the pictures. Yeah, kept it nice and silent. Sneaky guy.
Honestly, Paul, you were getting me towards a joke there, and I'm pulling it back hard.
Oh, don't! God, stop the innuendo sipping there. Don't. God. Oh shit! Don't want to see that. Oh God Almighty. Shots up to now have been really great, and we've got two other participants to come on: Jan Smith and Gladys Yelland. So let's be a second there. So Jan, yep. It is what it is. It's a shot, of course, it's wildlife. It's, of course, a stag. Tell us more about it. Where it was about. Kind of a good idea, but yeah, go for it.
Yeah, this image was actually from Glenity. I shoot this with a 24 to 70 lens. So I was literally actually lying down under the rock where he is actually standing, because I couldn't have gotten that close. No. So it was about, I waited for him to come down, and as soon as I know that he will be there, I just crept down and laid down and took the shot.
Good positioning. And of course, I've never shot any kind of wildlife or anything. Can you get that close to stags or anything?
In the Glenetif and Glencoe area, there seems to be a few that are really, really friendly. But I think generally speaking, you wouldn't. I mean, it's a spectacular shot to get.
They're quite. I mean, looking at a deer, of course, getting close to a deer is an honor. You never get close to a deer. Mm-hmm. But with stags, practically just posing for shots when you take, when you're actually going into the field and try to shoot them. Obviously with a camera, not with a gun. Yeah, that's a blow.
Yeah,
I love the perspective on this. It's just obviously the looking up at it really makes it. I mean, they're majestic animals anyway, but it just makes it look even more majestic. Yep. Fantastic.
Mm. But Jan's saying she was lying down, but we actually realised that Jan's quite a small, petite woman, and she was fully standing to get that shot. She just won't admit it.
Yeah. I've met Jan. She's about 6'7" actually. Alistair.
All right.
Yeah, she's quite tall. I wouldn't mess with her, put that way. Next time she sees you, put you right under.
I'm envisaging it in one of those apps where they make them sing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always shot. It's gone down to about 18 seconds, so just look at this image for a few moments and just take it in.
For me, it's the perspective of taking the image, but it's the deer looking back as well, isn't it? Mm-hmm. That's the perspective of the deer, how it's looking just to that one side, is not quite looking at the photographer, at you, Jan. And that's what I like about it.
It was a purpose. I didn't want to take a photo of it like straight on. I when I take photos of animals, I always like to show them at their, the behavior, normal behavior. So I purposely didn't want to get on its face.
Yeah, well done. That's a lovely shot. And we're going to move to the next one. I've just stopped the klaxon there, guys, just because you've got a nice image like that. I don't want to scare the stag away. So anyway, that's a bad joke. Okay. Yeah, another cracking one, and Kingfisher, and just the shutter speed. Can I just ask what shutter speed you're using there?
It was actually one to that was an F8. Oh no, sorry, F5.6, and it was 1:800. So that's why the wings is a bit blurred.
Yeah, you want that, the motion. You want that.
Yeah.
Well, the water droplets are really
It's a
really
cracking
fast.
image. Have you had to crop in on this one post processing?
Not very much. No, not very much. Because the Kingfisher just sort of, it is one of my lucky shots, really, because the image previous to this was just emerging, but it sort of the camera just didn't buffer and actually got this, and the way it was set up is that's 100 mm. That's 100 mm distance.
That's close to your internet.
Yeah.
It really is.
Paul, what's your take on this one? Mr. Baker?
Mr. Baker?
I'm just loving it. I'm looking at it and I'm loving it. It's the fact that you can see the motion and it's got a fish in its mouth as well. It's obviously just caught that. It's fantastic. It's well caught.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It's
really, really nice.
I think above all is the timing, the getting it right is the hardest thing, of course. I mean, I've never done wildlife photography, and I do respect people who do it because it's a patience, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just the right amount of blur at the background as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really nice. It's top notch.
Yeah.
Took me 6.5 hours of sitting on my butt.
I believe it. Yeah.
I'm not
surprised.
surprised. I've tried to get these before and still haven't got one yet.
Did you have bird capture in the camera, or did you just focus when it came in? Do you know what I mean?
I focused on the general direction of where I knew that it would likely to land.
I think if you spent 6 hours waiting for it, it's definitely not luck. I think it's a cracking image, and one I think we'd all be very proud of.
You make your own look. You do make your own look.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you think of a Kingfisher photo, this ticks every single box you could possibly want. He's got some food in his mouth. You've got that movement in the wings. The water droplets, the way that water's coming off the wings, that sort of effect of where it's sort of fanning out from the wings is just perfect.
Yeah, well said. We'll end on that note, and thank you, Jan, for sharing your images tonight as well with the rest of the guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we'll move on to the next participant. We've got Glads yelling. Now we're going to switch over to street photography. So get your street photography helmets on, guys. That should be hats. Right, anyway, enough of that. Yeah, Glads, tell us more about this shot. I have seen this one quite a few times from your own social media, and I love the square crop, but I also love the way the woman's looking and the position of the antlers at the back. Oh, you got that. Well done.
Thank you. I took that with F8, ISO 223 mils. So you have to be up and close, not far away, no zoom lens, prime lens. And that was done in COVID time, so people were standing outside, separated. And I just loved the fact that she was just standing there with the antlers and drinking her coffee, really. So that's the reason why I did it. It was something a little bit different.
And were you actually waiting for the person to walk into that scene? Because obviously you're looking at the image, the way she's positioned in between the antlers. That was really good thinking of doing that. Or was that something you noticed?
it was something I noticed, and I took the shot very quickly. Like anything, I take them as quickly as I can before I miss the shot, basically.
Did she mind you taking it?
Pardon?
Did she mind you taking a picture of it?
No, we talked afterwards, so she had no issues. She was fine about it, and she knew that I took it because I was really up and close, so it
Yeah,
wasn't.
she's looking at you.
I know a lot of people ask that
Well,
question. A lot of people ask, do they mind they take it? But most people generally are quite okay. You do get people that do mind it, and if they do, you just remove the photo. You don't keep it. But she was fine. She was very chilled about it.
Just tell the viewers, of course, Glad's regards to street photography. I know there's a lot of landscape photographers watch this, and they probably do, but street as well. But, you know, how difficult is it to get candid shots like this when they're looking down at the lens? Do you get a lot of people stopping you, etc., being argumentative, for example, instead of being pleasant?
No, not really. I think that's what's interesting. I think part of being a street photographer is reading people's body language, feel of what the person's like before you can take the shot. I mean, that's what I tend to do. So if I feel that something's a bit off, I won't take the shot because I don't want to put myself too much risk, you know? So you get a feel of if it's okay or not, really. Obviously, sometimes, and it's very rarely, that you'll mark it wrong. You know, you'll get it wrong, and then you just remove the shot. And usually, people say, "Please, I don't want a photo," and that's fine. You know, it's very, very, very rare you get people very aggressive. Usually, if it's someone's aggressive, it's because they've got something to hide, probably. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It doesn't faze me if someone took a picture of me. I'll be posing, you know.
They're walking down the street with the wrong woman.
Oh yeah, you know, there's always that. Anyway, I think.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah, there is always that. Excuse this at the moment, it's going to turn us off. But there's always that the kind of thing when people, you know, they're kind of worried in case they get caught with a partner. Maybe
yeah, and also
you know.
I think you know some people probably don't want their shot taken, which is fair enough. But generally, most people are quite chilled about it. Really.
I think more and more people are now, aren't they? But I think back in the early days when people went out the street, I think social media is kind of people have accepted that, you know, people are taking pictures all the time, and you can take pictures in you know, obviously if it's in a local area, you know, it's a council land, so
You
no
get
one's
some
got rights.
you get some people that come up to you saying, "Am I going to be famous?" You know, so you know,
Yeah, I think everyone thinks that these days, isn't it? There's a sort of
they
celebrity culture.
because
Everybody wants a bit of fame.
yeah, because I think the thing with street is you get a lot of street photographer that does street portraits. So I think people are used to it now more than they were before.
That's interesting, yeah. Okay, we'll move to the next one. That was a bit extended, but just because it's a different kind of subject, it's allowed. So we'll move on to Glad's next one. This one, guys, has got a bit of a little story to it. So Glad, tell us more about this one. And I know this is won an award as well. Tell us more about it and tell us how you got the award.
This won the British Photography Award in 2022. And I took this shot basically with another friend of mine, another street photographer, who was just standing taking shots. We were right next to each other, but we had a completely different shot, which was interesting. And the only reason why I was drawn to this shot was because of the way the lines was going into some kind of like invisible entrance. So that's why I took the shot. And this guy was just basically putting mirrors into the van, and it was quite funny because after he put the mirrors in the van, he said, "Oh, do you want me to pose anywhere?" And I'm like, "No, no, no, no. I've taken the shot. It's fine," sort of thing. So I you know, he was again quite all right about it. Like anything, you take the shot quick, and I took 3 or 4 shots as he was putting the mirrors in. And it was interesting. My friend had the shot where she didn't have the lines coming in, but she had someone walking through, you know, walking past. So it's interesting that we were both standing next to each other, but we had a completely different perspective of the actual photo. Because usually people think if you're standing next to each other, you're going to get the same shot, but it just wasn't the case. Which again, that was interesting. And I took this with my 23mm f8 ISO 200, and I obviously improved it, you know, buffed a little bit of the contrast to get more of the color of the line. But and it was done raw as well.
Okay. Guys, any questions about this one? Just obviously Glad's given us a good introduction to
Yeah,
this image.
What would be your favourite focal length for street? Is it 22mm or is it 50mm or you haven't really got a preference?
It depends on the mood of my day, because some days I go out with the 50mm and I go out with the zoom, because when obviously COVID hit, I didn't want people to be too close to me. But then other days I'll go out with 23mm. If I feel confident on that day, I'll go out with a 23mm. But if I'm having a day like any street photographer does, that I just don't feel confident that day, then I'll take a 50mm. And it's interesting because it doesn't matter how long you do street, you always get days where you're just not confident in taking the shot. But it never gets better. You always have that, which I find intriguing, because you usually think that you'll build a lot more confidence in taking shots. But I think some days you do have off days where, you know, you're not in the mood.
Just finish off your bit there. I'll let you finish off. Sorry. Yeah, it's just don't touch it when you go back there with regards to, because I've done street photography way back, and that's how I started photography really. And I kind of felt like some days you feel like, you know, you're raising your camera in front of someone, you're feeling judged. You know, like, let's say, who's got the right? You can got the right to take a picture of me. Someone's going to come up to you and ask you to take the camera off you. Over. It's all these kind of cliches you get as a street photographer as you start it. But the thing is as Glad said, when you're actually going out, you can just get a wide lens, and or even not so much a wide lens, getting a long focal length. We can actually sit back somewhere long distance and just focus into people from a distance. That helps with the confidence. But as Jan says, as Glad says, I do beg your pardon. Glad's kind of depends on how she feels. If she wants to go out with a wide lens, she wants to get a bit more close and personal with someone, then she'll do that. But if she wants to go with a long lens, it depends how she feels, and that's what it's like with street. It depends on the situation as well, because some people, if there's a march on or something, or people are a bit kind of boisterous, whatever, running about the place, it depends on the mood of the day, I suppose, isn't it?
That's dependent.
Have you ever been approached while you've been photographing on the street?
What do you mean, like approached?
Someone's come up to you straight in your face saying, "No, I don't want my photo taken," or "What have you just taken?"
Once I have, I think only once through the whole 5 or 6 years of taking photo, I got approached, and he said, "Please don't." He went right on my face, and I said to him, "Don't worry, I'll delete it." And I just deleted it in front of him, and then he calmed down and he walked away.
Just pretend to delete it and just keep
But
it.
like anything, it depends how you come across. Do you know what I mean? If you come across generally calm and you say, "Okay, I'm not going to take your photo," people are generally okay about it. If you come across nervous and look like you're being sneaky about it, then people are going to look at you and think, "What are you doing?" So as long as you make it quite obvious that you're there, and you're taking shots, I think generally you find some people will get funny about it, but most people generally don't. And the reality is, as you become a street photographer, you don't necessarily, when you start out, you tend to take pictures of people. But as you progress through the years, you start taking pictures of the actual whole street, because it's not just about the person, it's about documenting what the street actually looks like. So I found myself over the years that I've concentrated less on the person and more on the actual overall thing. So when you see some of my later photos, you can see more background than just the person. And that's something you develop over time.
Yeah, I'll actually continue if you like, but I'm just going to go off back into the screen again. But just want to say thanks to every one of you for showing these images, and especially giving us a chance to put them on up tonight. And my book, I've not seen one wrong image, but the next one you might see some wrong in it. Well, you might think it's a bit fabulous actually, and it's me. Can I get applause, please? Great, thank you. Was that actually applause, or was that? Come on, do better than that, for God's sake! Come on. Right. Anyway, an artistic Paul. Right. So, yeah, this is my first one, and I think most of you have seen this one, and it's kind of I called it secret meeting because it's free, sort of more of kind of like based on. I think it's ash trees. If correct me if I'm wrong. They're not okay. I know that they're ash trees, I think, and they're all like. One of them's damaged on the right hand side there, as you see. It's obviously been kind of by animals or just by decaying. It's basically like some kind of wood infection. But I love the condition of that tree there on the right hand side, and the trees can all meet in the middle. This is what I like about this image. So it's difficult for me to introduce my image when I'm actually talking to people about their images. So if you have any questions, just ask away.
It looks like a tree visiting the doctor, to be fair.
Oh yeah, okay. And just give me your thinking on that. In what aspect?
Well, the one on the right is poorly, and it looks like it's gone to see if it can get help. That's what it looks like. It looks like it's ill. It's a GP surgery. I know I think stupid, don't I? But that it's poorly.
No, I can see that.
That white is drawing you through it.
It's the ghost in the middle tree that gets me. You see the face in that middle tree, just above.
These guys got some seen faces, wolves and things.
Yeah.
We'll move on to the next one. I think I've had a bit too much time on this one for myself, but thanks, guys. Appreciate it. So this one here is one of my favourite ones, just because of the pretty much the background. If you look at the backdrop, you've got like these what appears to be two oak trees, kind of guarding the back, almost like kind of fighting with each other, and it's kind of like a gateway to who knows where, because we can't see down that little hill there. So that's on a hill going down, and of course on the left hand side, the tree actually kind of anchoring on the left, and then the little sapling on the right, giving you that walkway. It's a bit more man-made, that kind of, because of the walkway coming through the forest, but I just love that comp because of that, and the light hitting the actual centre of the pathway coming down from the canopy.
It's beautifully balanced image. It really is. I could just picture myself walking down there, or I could picture this in a scene of a film, something like Narnia. I don't know. It's just very mystical.
Yeah, it's one of my favourite ones, and what I liked about it as well, because it was a nice calm day. I didn't have to work too much on the shutter speed. The sapling on the right, I was quite happy to get that in detail, because as you know, in saplings they can move quite a lot because they're very, very flexible. Obviously they're very young trees, so they move more than another tree. So it's quite hard to get them in try to get sharpness out of it. And I liked the bracken there, the seeding bracken. There's some autumnal colours coming out, burnt bracken.
Yeah, it's just starting to turn into.
So that's pretty much that image, and this was featured on Paul and Matt's and Tom's kind of podcast. If you remember, I don't know if you've seen it.
Is it Kirsthofen Hill by any chance?
Yep. Sorry?
Is it Kirsthofen Hill by any chance?
No.
It's not?
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm. Is that some kind of pine on the left-hand side?
Pine tree. These are pine on the left-hand side. Well, the left-hand side, the one you see there, the pine by itself, that's a pine. On the right-hand side, I don't know if you can see it through the foliage. There's two pine sort of crisscrossing. Can you see that? So, but the ones in the back.
I just love that. I love the light on that texture on the one on the left-hand side.
Yeah, the only thing that gets me with that one, I don't know if you can see I can't point my mouse at it, but if you look halfway up, there's like a line that cuts it off. Can you see that line? And it's like dark one side and light the other side. It just really irritates me, that. It just irritates me. I just wish it was a bit more blended, the light. But that's all the light dropped in it.
It adds a bit of depth to me.
Yeah, it's got depth to it. I mean, the image has got depth to it. That's why I like it. And you can see a birch tree if you look right in the middle. There's a birch tree.
Nice frame on somebody's wall, that, mate. That's really nice.
Thank you. So that's the images, guys. And thanks again for sharing. Really appreciated. So we're going to come up with that. And we're going to go back to the screen. Well, thanks again, guys, for seeing these images. We're going to go into a discussion about the F7.1 podcast. Now, they actually are starting to, I don't know if they're recording at the moment or they've finished recording. We'll find out in a minute, of course. They have started a videos, sort of kind of, I think it's based on the F4 kind of stuff. But these guys have got their own kind of take on it. And so they're going to be getting it out soon. We'll see a clip of that. But what I'm going to do firstly, just get into the thinking of this behind it and where the originality came from. So who do we talk to first? Let's mix it up. I'm going to go for Paul Baker. Paul, take it away.
We were just a bunch of guys that started meeting up, really. We just got on really well, and we decided that we wanted to, whenever we could, sort of meet up and do it as a group. And then the two guys, I think it's Steve and Darren, started off Facebook pages. So you've got Thumbs Up Photography and what's the other one? I can't remember the other one. I'm sorry, I've forgotten.
Photo Peeps.
Yeah, with Daniel. But so they arrange meets and whatever, and it's really good to meet the guys that are on those pages, and we sort of talk about the photographs, walk around, meet each other. It's just really good fun. And then of course we as a group arrange outings, and like we just did Northumberland, and we did that for a weekend, and we had a fantastic, one of the best weekends I've had for a long time. I never laughed so much, and it was just fantastic fun. I didn't like the getting up at 3 a.m. and going to bed at 12 o'clock at night, mind, but yeah, we're great fun. Other than them sticking birds on my bloody van.
Do you want to tell the group about the crows?
All right, so yeah, I was lying in bed. All the other guys were sleeping in the hut, and I decided that I didn't want to do that. A, because I snore, and B, they all stink. So I slept in the van, and one morning I heard all these birds on the top of the van, and I kept punching the roof of the van to try and scare them off, but they kept coming back, and you were getting this pitter patter of bird feet on the top of the van. So I kept punching it. And then eventually I just thought, I'm getting out of the van, so I got dressed, got out of the van, and all these lot were sitting there laughing their heads off. I told them where to go. Then I looked up and noticed they'd been bunging bread and all sorts of stuff on the top, feeding these birds.
Oh, brilliant.
Paul, one of us will send
Yeah,
you
we've got the footage. Actually, we're going to put up in a minute. I just want to speak to one of somebody else about this.
Yeah, we've got.
So, who was the brains behind it? Who was the person that came up with the idea?
A bit of a collective, really. We were all in a chat together, and it was sort of the back end of last year. We came up with this F7.1 thing, roughly based around the F4. There were 7 of us. And it just sort of
I like
snowballed
concept.
from there.
And where did you get the concept? We're talking about concept. Where did you get the concept for to make F7? Yeah,
from the F4 group, basically.
It's there to be. Yeah.
There were 7, 4 of them.
But these guys won't fall out. That's the main thing. So right. So anyway, well, we'll see. We don't know that, guys.
Oh, I don't know.
It's affected. It's affected 4 of these guys.
It was more about having. It was more about having fun with photography.
We're going to do is shove up the video, guys.
Actual photography.
So we'll put the video up.
Well, peeps, look at this. Semen stains on the left-hand side, and masturbates on the right-hand side. That's why it's called stainy, because it's just stained his pants on that edge.
69.
Nice. Oh, look at that. Hopefully that's captured that one.
Things we do.
I need a right good dump and all, there's nowhere to go yet. So yeah, clench, hold and shoot this morning.
Good stuff. Really enjoyed that. So guys, we've seen that video and it does look quite epic. I'm sure it'll be good. So guys, and apart from the...
If you want a quick preview, Paul's already got a couple of videos out from Northumberland.
Brilliant. So there you go. Paul Baker's already got a couple of videos out.
I think, have you got one out as well, Colin? From Northumberland?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
So,
from the first night.
And the guys are not involved in F7. What did you think of it?
I'm quite impressed with the quality of trailers and things that you do for these things. It is very impressive. Just wish the videos were to follow, but never mind. No, sorry, they are really. They're all really good.
Yeah. The sunlight you saw on the opening of it is when I was up at that castle then, and Steve were taking the ones at the huts at the bottom. That was the sort of light we were getting on that last day.
Yeah, that's good. I'm sure it'll be quite...
It looks interesting.
It does. That's the point of a trailer.
It was very interesting.
Has anyone actually seen the F4 road trip? Just out of experience here. Curiosity, sorry.
I've only seen bits of it. I didn't buy it. I've got to get a hooky copy of you, Paul.
I've got it. Yeah, I can send you a link. Yeah, I bought it with my own money. I didn't pirate it or anything like that. It was my own money I got it from. Well worth a watch.
The only problem when you make things interesting, when you see the trailer is interesting, you then have to follow through with the full
you don't want to watch my videos then?
Well,
it has to be more interesting.
All them clips are actually in the videos.
Yeah, it looks good. I mean, I've been waiting for photographers to do that. There's no one, well, apart from, of course, the F4 guys, there's not many people have actually tried it. So, it's a brave thing, guys, and I think you'll pull it off because I've seen your podcasts, and I'm sure some of the viewers have not saw F7.1 Podcast. Look it out now because you'll get a good backdrop of who they are. I'm sure you know most of them from YouTube, but when these guys get together, it can get messy. So I'll be in anticipation of that video to watch it. So is it a serious
video of me?
If you ever go around with Paul, just make sure there's an ice cream.
Yeah, I just noticed that clip. So how many parts is it in, guys?
I think on mine, I've got 5 episodes.
God, blimey, 5. I got 3. I think I did it with 3 or 4.
You got 3.
Yeah, I only got 3.
Mine are all out now.
And when this comes live, when it comes out on social media, are you guys put it like so people can actually purchase, or is it going to be what's the?
No, it's just
That's really selfless. Very good for you guys as well, because I know a lot of photographers would just like to gain money from all the money they put into it for filming it. So that's just quite a good thing you're doing.
No, for us, it was just that weekend was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
And for people obviously anticipating to watch it, when's it going to be released? Do you think?
That first one of mine's on this Wednesday.
Mine starts next week, next Saturday.
Right, so you guys are doing it separate times, right? Got you. So, right, okay.
Yeah. And obviously, Paul and Colin and Daniel, they've got some out already.
Right, okay. Need to watch that. So you heard it, guys.
So we've all done it as individual videos.
Yeah.
But as a collective under the F7.
What I'll do is I'll put a link to everyone's YouTube channel, Colin's, Paul's, of course we've got Steve's and Dan's already. Everyone's on the F7 and put it into it so they can watch that. Obviously, you can see different takes from it as well from your YouTube channels. But yeah, looking forward to it. I do like a bit of laugh, a bit of a giggle when it comes to photography as well. It gets boring, it's a bit serious. It's good to learn, but you can learn faster with being a bit fun as well, I think.
We've even got a flag now, Paul.
I think it's. I think the whole idea of it is photography's fun.
Yeah, exactly.
If you've not having fun in photography, what are you doing it for?
Yeah.
And whether you've on their own or with your mates, but we have such a good laugh together, and we learn together as well. But it's not these mates, even the chats, the podcast. It's not really photography is second. It's about good friendship, having a good time, and then if we get a decent image, fair enough. But it's about having a good time.
Here to that. I think you've summed it up there in many ways, and I think that's with photography. What people kind of miss it. But some people are so busy and trying to get everything right. When they just relax and just enjoy the taking part of it, it's like a sport. You take part. I mean, if you enjoy it, just do it, and then you grow from knowledge from other people. You grow from your community photography. The photography community is massive right now, and it's never been as big because of social media. So, all different types of photographers we can learn. I mean, I've befriended the people on Facebook I don't know because I love their images. That's because they're photographers, and I've never really used Facebook for families or friends or anything. I just because if it wasn't for photography, I wouldn't be on Facebook. But what I'm trying to get, guys, is mainly connect to different types of people, photographers, learn from them, all aspects of photography as well. You've seen tonight with Glad's, with her, street photography as well. There's something for everyone. There's also boudoir photography. Anyway, that's different. So, but sorry, that's a bit tasteless. There is all different aspects of photography. We can always learn from each other, and we can integrate different parts of people's talents into our own photography, not copy, but integrate, where you can actually put something you like into it and use that kind of story narrative as well. So yeah. So guys, we've had a great podcast. It has been late. We're recording this right now late for the guys. The guys have been here longer than you think. So even though this is probably about half an hour, it's mainly about 3 hours. But anyway, so it's been great having you on, Paul and Colin, Jan, Glads, Martin. Thanks again for coming on in such short notice as well. I've been kind of knocked back by a lot of guys in photography, including Gavin Hardcastle. But you guys have come on. So, yeah, you know what? Love you guys. Guys, Steve, of course, Darren, as ever, Alistair McDonald, great wind-up merchant, but love the guy as well. Thanks again coming on as well. And guys, have a good night. And, love to see you. Looking forward to seeing the F7.1 road trip. which guys look out for. We'll get the links in the description below as well.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, enjoy your drink.
We're going to have a good night.
Cheery bye. See you later, guys.
Bye.
See you later.
Thank you. Bye.
We are talking photography.